And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. This is Insight on Business, the News Hour. We're sitting here talking about booze. Why not on a Monday morning? Our guest in studio is Phil Bubb. Phil is one of the partners in the Iowa Distilling Company. He, along with Todd Dunkel, have opened up this distillery in Cumming, Iowa. And it is fascinating. When we left, we were talking about your Iowa Shine, which is your current product,
Sure.
Your base product, I would suspect.
That's right.
And then there's something called Prairie Fire. It is, by the way, delicious.
Well, thank you.
It's a cinnamon flavored whiskey.
It is. It's our 100. It's 100% corn, all locally procured, and then we have our own sort of proprietary recipe that we put together, all natural flavor, and it ends up being a very strong, pronounced cinnamon flavored whiskey, and for folks that don't like cinnamon, they won't care for it at all.
Right. Well, I have to tell you, there we were on Tuesday evening. I think it was about 85 degrees, 90 degrees last Tuesday, and I had a tasting of the Prairie Fire. I think it would go well in December, January, and February. I'm not so sure that it works very well for me in the middle of the summer, but it was really a very vibrant cinnamon to it. You're also making a rum. Talk to us about that.
Well, the rum, it's the only product we make that isn't entirely from locally grown inputs. It's we're making a rum from sugarcane molasses from Barbados,
right? And
they come, we've been making it now for I think the first rum barrels we have down are about 6 or 7 months old. But that's a product that requires some aging to it to smooth it out and give it the sort of the color and the flavor that people are looking for, I think, from a rum. So we've had that barreled since at least the beginning of the year, and we're hopeful that in the next few weeks we'll get our final label approval, which we're waiting on right now, in order to bottle and start getting that out.
What are you calling it?
At this point, we're calling it Steel Drum Rum.
Steel Drum Rum. Nice.
Yes, sir.
Nice.
That's we're finalizing the label, but that's
I can see it now. Steel Drum Rum. Phil Bubb is our guest, ladies and gentlemen. He's one of the principals at the Iowa Distilling Company based in Cumming, Iowa. We have a friend in Templeton. And Steve has been working, lots of marketing dollars, lots of effort with Templeton Rye, and very successful, by the way, over the course of time. And that's in Glidden, I think, Iowa. Templeton, Iowa, which is close to Glidden. And they've been at this for a long time. And I think we're probably some of the early pioneers in this distilling process here in Iowa, utilizing locally produced product. I mean, locally produced grain. Is that important to Iowa Distilling?
Oh, it's very much so.
Why?
And we're both both the owners are Iowa natives. We married Iowa girls. We have a lot of pride in being from here, and to me it made tremendous sense to take advantage of what Iowa is really known for. I mean, it didn't make a lot of sense to me that a lot of corn whiskey was coming out of Georgia and Kentucky, which aren't typically known for corn production.
Right.
But I think we've both Todd and myself have been from families that were very closely tied to farming, and we've actually tailored what we make to what is readily available in our area. Which is one of the reasons we're not using at this point any rye in any of our whiskeys, because there wasn't enough rye being produced around us. We're working with a local farmer in Norwalk to try to remedy that next year. He has graciously agreed to supply us with some rye. But no, I mean it's very important to us to the extent we can to keep everything local on the input side, and then when we're finished distilling off of the grain, the spent grain, we donate that back to local farmers
as a feed for cattle.
They feed cattle, and somebody's feeding an alpaca with it.
Why not?
Yeah, I had no idea what alpaca eat, but somebody's told, one of the farmers has told us they're also using it for an alpaca.
Interesting story. Once again, we want to show you the image of the outside of the building. And I want to talk a little bit about why Cumming, Iowa. Why did Iowa Distilling Company decide to purchase this building in tiny Cumming, Iowa? Here it is again. This is, by the way, it fits. Everything fits. We love the marketing, the simplistic approach to your marketing. The big D, the way the labels are done. Your website, I think, is stellar. Uses imagery very well, and that from a professional guy that we do this for a living. And so I was struck by all of those things. Go ahead and put that image up again, if you would, Ryan. Tell us why you picked Cumming, Iowa.
Well, for us, it's in just the ideal location. We wanted to be outside of sort of an urban environment. We didn't want to look at factories and manufacturing buildings right outside where we are, and you can't see it from the photo obviously, but the view out of our front windows is fields and
it's Iowa.
Yeah, it's wonderful. But we're still a 10-minute drive from West Des Moines, and all of our suppliers for anything. We're Todd lives in Cumming, so for him it's a shorter drive even than for me. But no, it's just being on the bike trail where we are, to have sort of those folks coming through, being in an area that I think is on its way up as far as people moving in and developing it. The building itself was just
gorgeous, fantastic. Yeah. What was it prior? Do you know?
Yeah, it's about 105 years old.
Yeah.
So it's been many things.
While,
as I understand it, they were making jukeboxes there at one point. It was a general store at one point. It was they were doing farm auctions in it, I believe, right before we purchased it. So it's worn many hats over the years.
Well, it's a beautiful building. Inside the building, ladies and gentlemen, here's a still. I think, Ryan, if you could put that up for just a moment. Now, this is where it all happens. Now, explain what I could, but I'm going to fumble around a little bit. What are those big tanks in the back?
The big tanks in the back are our fermenting tanks. So that's where we mix up the batches using the grain and hot water and sort of cook everything for a few hours, and then that's where we also add the yeast to it when we bring the temperature back down and let the yeast do their work over a 4 or 5 day period back there.
And then, as I understand it, you drain those after a period of time, and then you put them in the distiller, which are these forward items.
Yeah, in the foreground there, those are our 200-gallon stills, and we once the fermentation's finished and the yeast have converted as much of the starch into alcohol as they can, we pull that liquid off, fill the still, and then heat it from there, and whiskey comes out the other end.
All right. And you double distill it, is that correct?
We do. We distill it the first time, and
is there a difference?
It acts a lot differently,
really?
and the second time we distill it, it comes off at a much higher proof. The first time we distill it, we run it sort of fast, and a lot of whiskey sort of is distilled once, and that's fine. And we kind of played around with that versus double distilling or even triple distilling. I mean, it's just another thing to experiment with, I guess, to figure out what kind of flavor you're going for. But for us, we found that after double distilling it, it still kept some of the grain flavor that we were looking for, but smoothed it out a lot, so it wasn't quite as harsh as I think a lot of people assume that an unaged whiskey is.
Mm-hmm. And then, so after then you bottle it right away. There's no aging in casks or anything like that.
Not for the Iowa Shine. No.
Okay. It's straight out of the copper, right?
We come out of the copper, and we go to the other room. We do pass it through a column that we have full of charcoal to take a little more of the bite out of it. But other than that, it's ready to go.
And then here's another image of the inside of Iowa Distilling Company. This is you serving up some of the cinnamon last week, as a matter of fact, and the spandex was all over the place, by the way. And so you're holding on to a bottle of Prairie Fire, and next to it is Iowa Shine, the clear stuff.
True.
That was a nice spread that you had, by the way.
Well, thank you. We knew we were going to have some company.
Yeah,
And,
you had some company. I see that Juan O'Sullivan made a gift.
he
perhaps.
did. Yeah, he's another Cumming-based business and a very good friend to us so far. We've been at several farmers markets and tastings where our booth was right next to his. And
Juan O'Sullivan, by the way, ladies and gentlemen, I'm sorry for those of you not in the area. That is, it's a brand name for a manufacturer of salsa, and good stuff too.
Yeah,
excellent
fantastic.
Stuff. So this is really economic development in a fun way, don't you think?
Yeah, and we're really hopeful that. We're going to continue to expand. I mean, our plan is to continue to expand, and we'd like to bring some more folks in. We're going to at some point need to expand the building itself to house bigger production, and my hope would be that we can sort of get that heart of Cumming to attract a few more businesses, because right now it's got a few. But there are still some vacant buildings in town.
I think Anvets is there, and
and there's a couple, sort of service providers and things like that. And there's a charter bus company up the street. But I think there's plenty of room around Cumming and incoming for more people to start businesses or expand businesses or even put more homes in. I mean, I think we're just being right off of 35 where we are.
Now, as long as we're talking about economic development, and I don't do politics on this show, okay?
Sure.
Did you get money from the Iowa Economic Development Authority?
No.
What?
No.
They're handing out money like crazy to Egypt.
And I can tell you we're sort of constantly working on that. But no, we've at this point we're entirely self-financed.
Give us we don't want to know the entire story, Phil. Phil Bubb, by the way, from the Iowa Distilling Company, one of the partners there, is our guest. Give us kind of an idea of an investment for something like this. I mean, you haven't quit your day job, obviously.
No. No, those
tanks, stainless steel. We had friends of ours from 515 Brewing Company, a craft brewer here in Clive, Windsor Heights area, good people. And I think there's 4 or 5 of those guys that are involved in that, and they're doing beer. And they told me their capital outlay and investment on that is enormous. I mean, stainless steel tanks and stuff aren't cheap. And you guys have got stills and all this other stuff going on. This cost a little bit of money.
It did. It does.
It does.
I'd love to tell you we've sort of stemmed the bleeding, but I don't think we have yet. No, it was.
What an investment.
Yeah, it was. I mean, it's a big leap. You really sort of have to commit to it. But I think there's only, if you're going to do it, you have to do it with the right equipment. If you're going to do it, and you find a building like that, I think it's time to, we obviously purchased the building.
I would suspect the building was the least expensive commodity that you have going on there.
Well, there's a lot of stainless steel in the back room, and none of it was cheap. And but we factored all that in when we looked at opening the business, and hopefully we'll have a lot more that we need to purchase as we expand.
I would hope so. And it's available where? Where can you buy this other than at your facility?
Yeah, well, there's about 160 stores in the state that carry at least the Iowa Shine. That's been out longer, so it's gotten retailers a lot more opportunity to put it on shelves. The Prairie Fire came out about a week and a half ago, so not as many retailers have picked that up, but typically our products are available in Hy-Vee stores, Fairway stores, around Des Moines. Casey's and Dahl's both carry it. So, and then obviously a lot of small kind of standalone liquor stores.
Sure. How did you market that, by the way? Just a final question. I'm sorry, we're kind of going overtime here, but I'm now interested. So when you sell to the Iowa Alcoholic
Beverage Division.
Yeah, right. And then but you have to get individuals interested in carrying the product.
True.
So how did you do that?
Well, part of it is the state the state will sends out paperwork to all of the retailers once a month identifying new products, and a lot of retailers will order new products or at least become aware of new products that way. The rest of it is just shoe leather.
Knocking on doors,
stopping on handing out samples. Encouraging people that have stopped at the distillery for tastings to, ask their retailer if the retailer doesn't
Sure.
carry it. A lot of phone calls, a lot of mailers, a lot of, we keep pretty busy.
I think it's a fascinating business, and I wish you all, you and Todd, the very best as you roll through this experiment of creating whiskey out of Iowa-based products right here in Cumming.
Yeah.
Of all places, I'm sure Senator Harkin is proud of the fact that has he been to Dubai to see you?
Not to my knowledge.
All right. Well, we'll have to send him a note
Yeah.
and make sure that he comes back to Des Moines and visits his hometown, at least for a stop-in to see what's going on at the distillery. Iowa Distilling Company, ladies and gentlemen. Phil Bubb has been our guest. Good luck and congratulations with all of that.
Thank you very much.
Thanks so very much for being with us. Inside on Business is a production of our advertising agency, Inside Advertising, Marketing, and Communications. You can see us live each and every Monday at 8:45 in the morning here at Webcast One Live, or back on YouTube whenever you want. Our thanks to our sponsors. That would be FWRSA, tax and accounting professionals that'll work hard for your business until the cows come home, and our friends at Bike World of Urbandale, Ames, and West Des Moines. It is the store that supports the sport. Have yourself a wonderful day from all of us at Inside Advertising, and for our producer, Ryan Northfield, be safe, be well, be careful. Most of all, be good to your fellow man.